and a red velvet cake, and I got to give her $175.
$175 what?
And I cook for her $175.
Money.
This is the worst time to go live.
How much is all of this stuff that you're doing?
Well, we'll find out after the show starts. In 5.
The broadcast starts in 30, guys.
Brothers, we're happy and we're singing and we're colored. Give me a high five.
All right, cut and print. Beautiful, guys. Dynamite. That is.
Yo. Welcome to another edition of the broadcast, episode 168, titled Time to Tighten Up. We're going to talk about the road to WrestleMania. We're going to talk about WWE's creative depth, issues, and then some on this episode. And to start the show, like we always do every week, I'm going to start it off with the moderator, myself, your host, People's Champion, a.k.a. Shot Biz Ronnie. And I'm joined today by Bobby Brown. I'm going to get to you in a moment. And, of course, Mr. GNX Bowl himself, Grizzly Rhodes, a.k.a. Grizzly Heart, a.k.a. the Diamond Cutter. And returning this week is our fantasy booking extraordinaire, the Dynamite Kid Ty. Guys, how are we feeling on this Super Bowl Sunday? Now you can go, Matt.
So we're all okay with the fact that Grizz is selling ass for a PlayStation Network subscription.
What? No, come on, man.
Selling ass for a yearly subscription to PlayStation Network.
Come on, okay with this. Come on, the sun is still out, man. What are you doing?
Stu not paying us enough. My brother shouldn't have to go out like this. He shouldn't be selling ass for a PlayStation Network.
Not what it. Oh,
I'm not okay with it.
God.
I'm not okay with that.
Happened.
I'm not okay with it. Red velvet cake and fucking and a PlayStation Network is not it, bro. Why? Why are you doing this?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna veer to a different direction here because clearly I've never thought I'd find myself defending Eric on a podcast, but we gotta get this out the way. It's a new year. All right, we got new things to talk about. All right, Eric, how are you feeling today? Outside of that,
outside of that, I'm ready for the Drake Petty Bowl.
All right, man, I can't sit here and blame you. I'm waiting to see what songs get performed tonight. I hope my prediction came true. One of many predictions. So there was a rumor that Kendrick had a big surprise for tomorrow. Like today. So we know SZA's going to be there. My prediction is that the surprise is going to be Janet Jackson performing alongside him for Poetic Justice.
I like that. I like that move. Stop. This is why Stu pays you and he don't pay me in Grizz. This is exactly why. I like that.
Yo, don't Joe Budden me on my own show, bro.
That's crazy.
Like, and he disappeared.
He disappeared. I ain't do it. Listen, don't put this on me.
He's gonna run the tape back and be like, your hands weren't up when that happened. Clearly this is your fault. All right, well, just so you know, we are all collectively doing all right for the most part, you know.
All right, cool. But let's now he's getting back in the show. Let's get started with our first icebreaker question of the show. Early thoughts on WWE 2K25. Obviously, the new show recently just came out. In terms of the presentation, the trailer came out with Roman recently, and IGN just had this. I think they had a 10-minute video on YouTube displaying all the different additions to the game, like chain wrestling's back and all that good stuff. What's your first initial thoughts about the new specs of the game this year?
We'll go first.
I guess
obviously
I'll go.
Great if Grizz is selling ass.
Oh Jesus! Oh, good Lord! So I'm a give, I guess, the contrarian opinion. 2K has had this license this is the 10th game they've done. So we've had this for a minute. I feel like 2K25 is a make or break title for them because they've basically been selling the same game for 3 years now with the new engine. And it looks like now the game is getting more depth than it had before. A lot of the stuff looks promising, but I'm not going to be hype for this game until maybe a month or so after its release, only because you could give us all this good stuff, but if the features don't work, then we're just going to be sitting there angry again, you know? Like, I tried playing 2K24 last year, and the online servers were non-existent. You tried doing that fight, like, you know, the strike exchange mechanic they added in the game? Like, you try to use some of the mechanics in the game, and the server would crash, or you would try to play universe mode, and that mode was broken. I know they've added new improvements to universe. I know they brought chain wrestling back. I know they brought in a new destructible environments for the backstage brawls and everything. There's a lot of promising stuff. And they got rid of that slingshot tech. Thank the Lord. But I need this to work. I want this game to be as playable as possible upon release, which I feel like we shouldn't have to say that in 2025, but a lot of companies take advantage of the patchwork. So they give you an incomplete game, and then they try to fix it over time. This game should be as fixed as possible, especially after the past couple years. That's just me.
Anybody else want to chime in?
I feel it was good because I know it's dope.
Boo boo pop.
Like that. What the hell just
You nigga.
I don't know where you're at, but their service is lacking.
The service is ass. All I hear is beep, boo boo pop.
You sound like you sound like you sound like those scatters from the 50s with auto tune on. Like, I don't know what's going on with you right now.
Oh, I'm inside the supermarket.
Oh, I'm thinking you home. Man, I get it. Hold on, he said Vaughn says first impression we're gonna have 150 bloodline members on the yo, chill. You might be right, but chill.
I bet you by 2K39 that'll be the case.
Yeah.
That's 80% of the
They're
roster.
doing what if for the Bloodline Showcase to make up for Brock, Edge, and Bryan not being in the company.
I'm not a big fan of showcase mode. I'm not gonna lie to you because Vaughn, like, I know that wrestling is typical to take advantage of nostalgia, but they're running out of things to do.
You really are.
Like, we've been having showcase mode since Legends of WrestleMania, WWE 13. Like, we've been having this for so long. They're gonna run out of content. And ain't nobody gonna buy an AWA showcase. You know what I mean? So, like, they got to figure something out.
No. But by doing that, I want them to kind of invest what they're doing with Showcase and invest it more so in their storyline modes past a year, so that we can have or different storylines within the story modes. Because it's like I kind of missed that. Like, that's what made those games important. Was like the season modes.
People forget the season mode was a thing. I see so many people talk about bringing back Road to WrestleMania, and I get what you mean, but Road to WrestleMania was a season mode. Like, if you want to take out Showcase and put all that effort into My Rise, go nuts. If you want to take out, if you want to take out Showcase mode and create a storyline back in the game so people can make their own season modes like they used to, go nuts. But take that shit out, man. Please. They took it out of the game a couple different times. Like, they can do it. So just put the assets somewhere else. That's all I'm saying.
A Shawn Michaels Showcase would go crazy.
Oh, hell no. So they could butcher those attires again like they did back in 2K15? I'll be damned.
Those were bad.
Those were bad. Those were definitely bad. All right, y'all. Let's get into business by talking about WWE's creative depth issues. Obviously, on the show, normally we would talk about what's going on currently, but we're past the recap shit. So let's get to the nitty gritty. There are times where Matt has been on the show. He talks about wanting to talk about the new blood a lot more over than the older talent. Tyler as well, and kind of coming up with different topics in order that could address WWE's current issues. We know that as a company, they're thriving right now in record numbers in terms of attendance, but there's always ways to improve within the company. And for one thing, one glaring issue has been their creative depth, of their characters and then some. So I would like to lean on Ty to explain more so in terms of what we're getting the chance to talk about. So Ty, I pass the lob to you. So take it away.
So, when I pitched this, I basically had the idea of spreading these ideas out over the course of the next few episodes, because there is a lot that you can talk about. And as the upcoming events for Road to WrestleMania, as we head to Elimination Chamber, come up, there's plenty of updates we're going to have that we could probably adapt into these things, because these are constants, right? So here's my thing. Generally, I'm happy the company's doing better, but typically when companies do better, they also get to a point where they can stagnate in certain places because they can coast. I'm sure y'all would kind of agree with that to some degree, right? Like, it's easy to coast off of certain things. So I guess to just rip the Band-Aid off, some of the things that I've noticed over the past 2 years of Triple H being in charge is that there have been so many longer term stories that a lot of things kind of get pushed to the side. Like, certain people kind of have to wait longer just to get an opportunity, because without certain levels of pacing with certain stories, you don't get enough short-term bursts. You don't get enough people being integrated into the bigger, more prominent stories, and it holds a lot of people back in a certain way, to where, like, it feels like they're either stagnating on the verge of releases, which we'll get to in a second, or they just don't have an opportunity to really push past the stuff they were given. Like, some people do really well with the stuff they were given. One of the people we advocate the most for is Chad Gable. And despite how well he's done in a lot of situations, it feels like he hasn't gotten his just due. Drew McIntyre supposedly felt similarly recently with the stuff with LA Knight, which thankfully is, much more cooperative now. But it seems as though, because they keep pushing storylines that were built from 2 years ago that aren't like on and off, but more so continuing on and on and on, some people kind of are pushed to the bench, if you will. And it puts a lot of their careers on hold, a lot of things in perspective. You know what I mean? Like, that's where I'm coming from with it. And there are a number of different talents we can talk about, a number of different stories you could talk about. But I think one of the most interesting scenarios we've had so far has been the Rumble fallout. Like, there's been a lot of people talking about their opinions on, the winners of the Rumbles. I know you guys talked about it a bit last week. I saw Eric gave an impassioned, not rant, but an impassioned speech about how, like, there shouldn't be an issue with Jey Uso winning, because essentially we've seen stuff like this before. We've seen people get multiple opportunities for the championship before winning a Rumble or before winning a big match to go into the Mania main event. And while I do agree with that to some degree, I'll actually offer you a different opinion, Eric, if you'll hear me out, Mr. GNX.
Go ahead.
I don't think that Jey Uso winning the Rumble is a bad thing. I think the surrounding environment that he's in makes it a bit underwhelming. Jey Uso winning the Rumble ain't a bad thing. But when you consider the surrounding context of what's going on, the fact that most of the Bloodline members are so prominent up the card, it's hard to kind of see other people get there to some degrees. The fact that a person like Jey Uso, in reality, could have had a whole different path to WrestleMania that would have been just as fulfilling. If you bring it back to a couple months ago, I feel like the WWE didn't do him service with the Intercontinental title.
Right.
If I'm being honest.
And
I feel like he could have had a longer stint in that division that could have given him a WrestleMania moment here with the Intercontinental Championship that I feel like would have been just as it would have sufficed. And I think that Jey Uso going after the World Championship at this year's Mania isn't a bad thing. It's one of many options they could have picked. And I think that's the other part of it, where when it comes to Triple H, he has a lot of different ways he can go about certain things, but he usually picks the safest option, which is ironic because most people thought the safest option would have been CM Punk or John Cena. With Jey Uso, it's actually a pretty safe option in its own right, because he is arguably the most over person in terms of crowd reaction right now. But when I think about Jey Uso and what's going on, I also feel like the field of champions doesn't work to his advantage as much as I'd like. He has connections with Cody and Gunther, but I think to myself, what if they had Kevin Owens win the championship and it had been Kevin and Jey at WrestleMania? Talk about a storyline that's been built on the side, right? Like how much Kevin has been saying for years, Jey was no good for Sammy, right?
Right.
The fact that these two had faced off in the main event of WrestleMania before to bring it back to that, which that's another discussion down the road. What really is the main event of WrestleMania when you're talking about the Royal Rumble? But, you know, I think it's more so factors like that that make it a bit underwhelming for me. I'll tell y'all right now, I hinted at it a couple weeks ago, but I actually wanted AJ Styles to win the Rumble because I feel like AJ had a perfect story going to Mania, considering his story was all about still proving that he was phenomenal. And AJ was injured at the time, so nobody really knew for sure. I know there was a rumor going around, but nobody knew for sure he was going to be in the Rumble. And the idea of AJ winning in the match that he debuted in, the fact that we know he doesn't have many years left, and for him to still prove to everybody in the midst of his midlife crisis that he's still phenomenal. The fact that the champions are Gunther and AJ, the fact that AJ has a history with, not Gunther and AJ, Cody and Gunther. The fact that AJ has a history with Cody from last year, where a lot of this storyline started. He could have teased going after Cody one more time, but then chose Gunther because he feels as though Gunther is the bigger challenge. And to really show that he's phenomenal, to beat a boss-level person like Gunther, but it did him some good. You know, it would have really made the championship victory feel earned. And it also would have fixed the issue that a lot of people have with AJ at WrestleMania, where they don't have many memorable AJ matches at Mania. Not to say that they weren't.
I like the match with him and Shane. It wasn't bad. And him and Jericho.
Oh, no, I think that those matches are good, but the problem is that people have this stigma that AJ isn't having AJ-level matches at Mania. So if you put him in the ring with Gunther and you don't get that match, the streak continues. But if you have him in the ring with Gunther and they have the match that people think they can have, the streak breaks. And AJ gets that Mania matchup that everyone can remember, which in turn will make people look fondly on some of the other ones because they'll realize, wait, AJ actually was having decent performances. We just weren't feeling it. And to have AJ win the title at Mania, give him that one last WrestleMania moment, and help carry the brand on Raw alongside some other people, I think would have been kind of nice because, honestly, when it comes to Gunther's title reign, there's nothing wrong with him being champion. It's just everybody was preoccupied doing something else.
Yeah.
There wasn't enough focus put on him as champion because everyone's like, Drew's trying to kill Punk. Judgment Day is trying to kill itself. Jay for a while was just vibing, and then went after the Intercontinental title. A lot of people going after the Intercontinental Championship over the World Heavyweight title. Seth was gone for a while, and then he came back, and then he remembered Punk existed. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was a lot of stuff happening that was taking away from Gunther. And it's not to say they weren't, hinting at Gunther. Like Punk said, when I'm done with Drew, Gunther, it's you. Seth said, I still want that title. Damian Priest tried to grab it a few times. But, like, everyone was so caught up in their own stuff that Gunther was kind of like afterthought.
He was afterthought.
And they could have played off of it. You could have had Gunther go on a vacation being like, there's no competition here. I'm going to take a big vacation. And you could have showed, like, I mean, like, he could have did what his NBA counterpart Nikola Jokic wanted to do, leave. Just leave. And you could have showed the photos of him on vacation with his wife, him smoking cigars, him out on the town, him cutting promos from different locations. It would have been great, but they didn't do that.
He's low-key kind of doing something similar to what you're saying anyway. He's undercutting Jay. He's like, I beat you already. I don't have no desire to face you. He's basically saying, like, you're only here because the crowd like you.
And that's fine. And he's supposed to do that because that's the obvious story there. But what I'm saying is that would mean even more if Gunther was getting pressed more often during his title reign, post Randy Orton, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and quick question, not to piggyback off of, like, because I know Jay said not to say this, but because you bring up Gunther, do you feel like that they might have done his title run a disservice during this run now that Jay's the number one contender and the fact that he's going at him possibly at WrestleMania? Do you think because of, despite him having a dominant run and him being who he is, do you still feel like it might have underwhelmed his World Heavyweight Championship run, where they could have done a lot more.
I just don't think that the crowd is catching on to him, honestly. I don't think it's nothing to do with his booking. I'm just saying him as a character, he's just a dominant figure, and that's all that it is. You can only be so dominant but have these great ass matches and be looked at as a dominant figure. You have to have something else that carries along with it. And honestly, I just don't think that the crowd is latching onto him. Like, say they would latch onto a normal like heel or like an Andre the Giant type heel or somebody that's a force that you just don't really want to fuck with, like Kane was or The Undertaker. He's dominant, but he's dominant to the point where you know he's beatable.
I would disagree. I think that they were on the verge of that, but once he became less of the focus on Raw, that's when it waned. And I do think that is part of the booking issue, because part of his character was the fact that he's an elitist. He believes he is the top of the industry, not just as a character, but as a wrestler. And he likes competition, but he doesn't see much competition amongst his peers. They didn't really get to play into that enough after the Cody thing, which I think was a big deal. Once he lost to Cody, even though he didn't lose in an embarrassing fashion, he lost. Well, he did. He didn't lose in a weak fashion. He lost in a fashion where it's like, really? And I think that when you see where Gunther was poised before, and see who could have won that matchup, I think that did affect people, like people's reaction to him, because after that, that's when he started to wane on Gunther being the presence he was before. They tried to make Gunther more vulnerable, which in my opinion worked against them, because if Gunther could beat people up, destroy them in the ring, and talk his shit, people would continue to resonate with that. And it worked at first, but after Gunther lost to Cody, which we kind of agreed. I think Matt, we kind of agreed it should have been the reverse. It should have been Cody being the more vulnerable champion.
Yeah.
It just kind of broke what he was. It hit the very core of what he was trying to work on, and people couldn't believe him anymore because somebody was able to call his bluff and get him.
And on top of that, I feel like he's more prominent, and he's more, how do I put it? Like, he's more of a heel or more of like a figure with Imperium with him. That's just my opinion. I can get trashed in the comments, but I feel like when they broke up Imperium, I feel like that mystique that they had went right along with it. So it's like I feel like that's kind of like there was too many blows to his character.
Yes.
Like there's like right now him being champion, it's like you're believable that he's champion, but you also know he's beatable. Like, there's nobody that does not second guess that Jay can beat Gunther at WrestleMania. Like, the match that they had at Saturday night's main event, I think he can beat him.
Well,
I don't know.
Wait. Let him finish. Let him finish.
Why I say that? Because Jey Uso has come close to beating Roman so many different times. We've witnessed it. He's actually pinned Roman Reigns. So, like, it's not above the realm of possibility that he can beat Gunther, bro. I just don't. It's like he's beatable. Sammy, the homeless nigga beat him. I'm just throwing that out there. The homeless nigga beat him at WrestleMania. He's beatable. Chad Gable almost beat him twice. Might have been 3 times. I lost count after a while. The matches was crazy. Like, but he's beatable. We all know he's beatable. And as long as we know that he's beatable, Jay stands a fair chance. So that moment at WrestleMania of him winning is believable.
All right.
That's all that I'm saying.
All right, here you go.
Okay, now that he put it like that, that doesn't make sense. Because, I mean, I agree with you. I don't think there's any, I'm not going to agree with you on, I don't think there's people that feel like Jay can't beat Gunther, because I feel like there's people that really feel like Gunther can beat him.
Matt, mute real quick.
Like I really feel that way. But as far as what's gonna make sense to the story and what's gonna be the feel good moment going into WrestleMania, especially going into Vegas, yes, because Jay is the most over person right now on that roster. Who else do you know is coming out there and before he speaks, they have to restart his music just because the crowd wants to hear it again? Like,
well, to be fair, be fair, that
But it's gonna almost don't mean shit. Oh, he talk. Yeah, it don't. It don't. You're 100% right. Your dog is cute, by the way. But no, I mean, it don't mean shit. It really don't. And you're 100% right. Almost don't mean shit. And that's why a lot of people feel like Jay is not going to beat Gunther. A lot of people feel that way. I'm not one of those people. I feel like Jay is going to get the title, but it's going to be one of those moments where it's like, you got the title, you got this. What's next?
well, that
It's
was
gonna
actually
be that what next. It's going to be that what next factor for a lot of people.
that's
They did that with Gunther and Cody too. You really want to be
Right,
honest?
but see that, but that's the thing. That's the thing, and I think that's what Tyler's kind of alluding to. It's more so something we always say. They book themselves into this creative corner.
yes.
So where now it's like you can't flesh out the story enough. Because what are you going to do? You're going to do Kevin Owens after Mania. You could have did Kevin Owens now and had him win the title, and and he has a connection with the bloodline, and his whole ordeal right now is I'm going after everybody who's wronged me. My friends, my family, whoever has wronged me, I'm going after them. Jay is not outside of that wrongdoing.
And Kevin
why couldn't you-
ends
right.
up in the situation where he feuds with the person after Mania as opposed to during the.
Exactly.
It's a shame because Jay, like I said, like if they had properly given Jay more time in the Intercontinental title division, you could have pictured Jay more as a proper champion as opposed to just having a championship moment. You could have shown Jay could have used that time to evolve himself, to not be too far away from who he is right now, but to push himself even further to show new aspects of himself so that when we see him in the world title scene, we go, okay, this is the world title chapter of Jey Uso. And we saw the roots of it planted in the Intercontinental title scene. Like,
right. It's kind of like the Canadian train week. It's kind of like how the Intercontinental Championship has always been like a stepping stone, right? I think we can all agree that. It's always been a stepping stone to a world championship. Because he didn't get a fair run, a fair defense with it, yeah, I feel that way. I feel like, yeah, it should have been, hey, if this wasn't going to be Jay's year to win the Rumble, all right, let him go into WrestleMania as champion, let him come out as champion. And, you got that going. It's a stepping stone for him to get to the world title, to be that. He's been a champion, because I think that's what a lot of people's problems are. They're on the realm of looking at it like, well, Jay was only a champion for like 2 weeks, or a month. And now in his first defense, he lost it.
And that's on the company. That's why I'm saying the surrounding context. And you could take that to Charlotte as well, in the sense of, like, I said it a few weeks ago, the last time I was here, actually, when we did that giant group episode. I said Charlotte winning the Rumble, I alluded to the fact that it's not that far-fetched. Was it necessary? A lot of people said no. Matt called me a hoe. And it's because the reality of the situation is like, yeah, Matt, you put your cam on for that. What you call it?
I stand on that. Still,
but here's the thing: Charlotte winning the Rumble this year, in all honesty, is actually is as appropriate as Jay's for different reasons.
Yeah.
But the reason why people look at it like as a bad thing is because of all the stuff that happened prior. Almost 16 women's championships, constantly being shoved down our throat, constantly being given opportunities over others. Matt, let me tell you something, man. There is a Bible somewhere in that house. point I'm trying to make is, like, she's been given so much that for her to win a Rumble opportunity, which I know most people say the Rumble should be used for newer talent. I agree with you, but historically it has not been done that way very often, if we're being quite honest. So by WWE's justifications, they were fine in doing that. Charlotte gets everything that she wants, essentially, in kayfabe and possibly backstage. I'm not going to blur those lines, but in reality, she gets a lot of opportunities. But in this situation, it actually made sense because the two champions that come out of it are more appropriate for her to feud with. And in reality, anyone else winning the Rumble would have been kind of like a, really? Because here's the thing. You can make the argument for Bianca. But if you wanted Bianca to win the Rumble, which I'm fine with, why do you have her as tag team champion still?
I wanted Roxanne Perez. That's what I wanted, and I
No,
was almost there.
Now I'm getting to that. But my point is, like, in the case of like some of the people that they wanted, Bianca, Naomi, why didn't you finish that first and then start a new chapter, as opposed to dragging on stuff that is essentially holding them back in certain ways, right?
You don't even know who
Why
attacked
didn't
Jade. Like,
right? Like and she might be coming back from Mania too, so they might be able to salvage that. But the point I'm trying to make is like Charlotte going after Tiffany, you get a mirror match. That's no different than Morrison versus Michaels, or Ziggler versus Kurt Hennig. That's one of those, like, the next version of you is up. You've been here for a while. You might be going through a midlife crisis. You don't want somebody to take your spot. That story writes itself. In the case of Rhea, don't do it, but you can tease the fact that y'all have fought at Mania twice already. There's a legitimate chance that you could pick this person because you fought at Mania twice for Women's Gold before. So it makes sense from that front too. But here's the thing. In the case of other people like Roxanne Perez, Roxanne could have won, but Roxanne was not gonna face Tiffany Stratton.
no.
Roxanne was gonna end up facing Rhea Ripley, and when you consider the surrounding factors behind that, Rhea held the belt for over a year, and the only reason why it got taken off of her because she got hurt.
Yeah.
Then they give it to Liv for a year to keep it warm for who?
Rhea.
And you had Becky's run in between, but that was very short-lived. It was all to give Liv that jump, but the reality was none of those reigns would have happened if Rhea stayed champion. And what did they do to get Rhea to that point? They had her murder the entire Raw women's roster and some of the men. At that point, she had no credible challengers. They wrote themselves into such a hole riding Rhea's wave. And don't get me wrong, Rhea deserves the love and the spot, but they wrote her into such a position to where she didn't even have anyone that could oppose her.
Nah, you're right.
And if
I
you
don't, I saw that stupid ass comment. I mean, not Vaughn. I'm not what Vaughn said, but what post he's alluding to. Yeah, that's stupid. I don't pay that shit no more.
And if you take it even further, you take it back even further, right? They did the same thing with Bianca. They did the same thing with Charlotte. Like, once something got good, they couldn't stop. It was like an addiction. And you get to a point where, like, you have a deeper women's intercontinental division than a women's world title division right now. Actually, you can make the argument for both intercontinental title divisions being deeper than the world title divisions right now. You can make that argument. Because CM Punk ain't fighting for the world title. Seth ain't fighting for the world title. They fighting for the Roman.
They fighting for a Roman. That's a whole fact.
Like,
They're fighting for the Ulafala.
Like, bro, like, you're at a point now where, like, Drew got shifted to SmackDown. Oh, Matt's back home. Drew got shifted to SmackDown, right? Damian Priest got shifted to SmackDown. Those were two of the only people really fighting for the world title last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're at a point where you wrote yourself into such a what is the Elimination Chamber right now? The Elimination Chamber is literally the year of 2011 right now.
Why?
Oh, why? Ooh, 2011.
And you're thinking to yourself, like, and that's part of the reason why I bring up all these, like, contextual environmental booking, like them booking around the problem. The problem is that they should be putting more people on at once. Not everybody could be champion, but more people could eat at that table than they've allowed to eat. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, if we look at the list of people that got released recently, right? There are a lot of people here. I'm not gonna lie. There's some people here who I don't really care for, but I feel bad for, like Sonya Deville. All the stuff that she's been through the past couple of years, for her to just get released when her stable didn't even get a chance, that kind of sucks.
Oh shit! I didn't even see the list. She got released.
Yeah.
Sonya Deville got released. Blair Davenport didn't even really do anything since NXT UK. Since NXT UK. This is the same person that people, like, at a point she was like Lady Ospreay, ironically because she was dating Ospreay, but she had such a big upside in a lot of fans' eyes. Didn't even get a proper chance.
Mm-hmm.
Giovanni Vinci, you talk about the Imperium implosion. Giovanni Vinci, what was that? What was that on SmackDown? Why?
He had one match by himself and a repackaged promo, and that was it.
He lost to Apollo twice.
Twice.
Okay,
So he had 2 matches.
Giovanni Vinci, Fabian Eichner, that dude is he's a machine. And you're telling me that he couldn't go after the US championship? Cedric Alexander couldn't have gone for any of those championships?
Right. Stayed in NXT.
The Good Brothers, now granted, I think one of them was injured for a point, but you had them in NXT going after the NXT tag titles. Why couldn't they help revitalize the main roster tag titles? The Authors of Pain proved themselves over and over again in NXT that they could be a great team.
And should have went after War Raiders for those Raw tag titles.
Could have went after War Raiders. Yeah. And considering how well they did against more energetic teams like TM61 back in the day, imagine them against the Creeds. Imagine them against the Motor City Machine Guns, against DIY. Again, like, I'm just sitting here and I'm like, how? Like not how. I know how, but why? Legitimately, why? Like, because I guess to bring it all the way back to the creative depth thing, a lot of people probably saw that title and they went, they're doing great. They're making so much money. A lot of times success comes at the expense of integrity. Sometimes that success comes at the expense of creative fulfillment. And there are a lot of people who don't get to share in that success, and not everybody can eat. But again, more people can eat at the table than you think. Don't let the past dictate to you who wasn't talented enough. There was a point in time where people said that Christian was not main event material. Dolph Ziggler wasn't worth a damn. John Morrison couldn't do anything. Shelton couldn't do anything. And people will say, well, with a guy like Shelton, he wasn't that great of a talker. Neither was Brock. And while Brock was a specimen, it's not to say Shelton wasn't in his own right. And it's not to say that Shelton couldn't have gotten an advocate better than his mama.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, man.
I don't like that you brought that up in Black History Month. Go ahead.
Yeah.
But we have to acknowledge the fact that this man should have been at least a 3-time champ and didn't. What the hell is that, man? What is even that?
We're going to get DEI versus DIY.
What is that?
Vaughn. Not on Sunday.
Relax.
Not on Sunday.
You gotta relax.
Relax.
I'll put it to you like this. Based on who was given opportunities, who weren't given opportunities, and who were being held back, the only group of people that should have been released recently was Def Rebel. That's the only
Yes.
I'm disappointed that we couldn't have, especially with all these hostage championship runs lasting for a year, the fact that the company books in a way where you only care about Mania to Mania, we should have had more competitive divisions. This is something I advocated for a while. We should have had more people in these divisions showing themselves and building each other up. But instead, we have a whole giant list of releases. We have a whole bunch of jumbled up messes for stories at Mania where they're trying to scrape together pieces. I'm just at that point, man. I'm like, look, I'm happy that they're doing well, but for the love of God, can more people eat? Can Chad Gable be U.S. champion already?
Right.
Can the U.S. championship division feel competitive like the Intercontinental title division felt for a little bit? Can we have more women's tag teams rocking, like legitimate tag teams? And supposedly if the rumors are true, and these releases are just to move up more people from NXT, do you have plans for these people?
That's the next thing.
Do you?
Or are they going to be sitting and catering?
Is there a reason why the women's tag team championships can't chill on NXT TV for like 2 months and let more of their groups go after it?
I wouldn't mind a metaphor being, the Meta Girls being tag team champs.
Whether it be the Meta Girls or that new Powerpuff Girl group they got with Gigi Dolan and Shotzi. Yeah. I'm just saying something. I feel bad for. It's not. Let me clarify. I'm not mad at all of what WWE's doing. I'm just mad that on top of what they're doing, they're not trying to flesh out everything else the way that they're fleshing out the bigger stories.
Boom.
You want I don't want people to come to WrestleMania because WrestleMania about to be a party, right? Everybody's going to be there. I don't want people sitting on their hands for 2/3 of the show and only caring about 1/3 of the show. And that show is going to be 7 hours. That's a lot of third. That's a lot of thirds, man.
Yeah. You gotta make the show fulfilled from top to bottom. We talked about in conjunction with the creative depth issues and it affecting major storylines. How would it affect? How would it affect, or how would you shape it going into WWE's Road to WrestleMania?
In the case of Jey Uso,
No, in case of anything, this is post transfer. This is you wrote the shit.
I know. I'm saying in the case of Jey Uso, you have to double down now. You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Oh, but I was talking in general. But if he's starting with Jey Uso, then yeah.
In that case, continue what they're doing. Gunther saying, "Listen, you ain't shit. I beat you. I beat you already."
Wow, bro.
And Jay basically saying, "I know I can beat you. I know I can do it. I know that I'm better than what people are saying. I can prove myself. I can be world title material." This is basically Sammy's storyline from last year.
This should have been Sammy's
100%.
storyline in going into WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Oh, you talking about the homeless nigga? Yeah, it definitely should be.
So that's
Like,
what you
all
do.
my life I had to fight for a plate. I finally got it. Now I got to earn it again.
Well,
That's
that's the story that they're starting now with Sammy.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes.
Because after the Kevin Owens shit, I don't know no more.
That's the start of it. Kevin's gonna be the catapult.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's like I'm always attached to Kevin Owens. I need to separate
100%.
myself from Kevin Owens and beat him
Again,
but definitively. They're probably going to make it a gimmick match. It's probably going to be like a Street Fight or some shit.
I hate the fact that
or a last man standings match.
I hate the fact that every time they come, I hate the fact that every time they come and basically like face each other or within the vicinity of each other, Kevin always has to take the L, and it's like, and now it's WrestleMania. It's like I don't want Kevin to take an L, but damn,
he shouldn't have taken an L at Royal Rumble if you want to be.
He should not. He should not.
At the Rumble, Saturday night's main event.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? No, Kevin Owens has been given. Kevin Owens was in the position that Christian was in 2011. The highlight of this program is that you're here with the nigga we actually care about, and you are producing at a high level. You are making that nigga better. You are doing great. You are doing your job. But just remember, this is it, man.
This is it.
I mean, I feel bad because, like, listen, man.
Matt, your camera following you is crazy.
That's
You are a Canadian feuding with a world champion who is a third-generation star that we actually care about. You should be happy we even selected you. That is how this feels to a degree. Yeah. And I feel bad for Kevin because he's made the most out of all these opportunities. He's gotten some highlights. I'm surprised he came back as quickly as he did after he died at the Rumble.
Bro, I thought it was gonna be like a good 2 weeks or show up at the chamber and screw somebody.
Chamber. I thought you weren't gonna see him to a chamber.
That's what I thought so too.
So, like, it is what it is. I feel bad because I feel like this feud with Kevin and Sammy is as rushed as the last one, where it just feels like we're doing this because we need something for Sammy at Mania and we need something for you, and y'all go together like glue.
So essentially, to wrap this up in a bow, you're basically saying that going into WrestleMania, Triple H has officially booked himself into a corner.
Yeah. He's going to make dividends regardless because he's going to scrap together all the things that make remote sense and put them together. That's why there's so much stock in this triple threat with Roman, Seth, and CM Punk, which is ironic.
I really think it's going to be a triple threat.
There's a possibility.
It's a possibility that night one is a triple threat, and the winner gets to face Cody night two.
I think that if they're smart,
I like that.
I think if they're smart, they would pivot Roman in the feud with Seth and CM Punk and pivot him out because of Rock and get more matches out of it. This reminds me, even though this makes more sense logically, this kind of reminds me of when Charlotte got inserted into the Becky and Ronda thing. Where I feel like I still say,
please.
Let's not kill that move. Let's not kill that move.
I'm using it as a reference. I'm not going to dwell on it, but I'm saying that year at Mania, we should have got Asuka Charlotte 2 and Ronda versus Becky, and both matches would have been better. In this situation, I don't think we need a triple threat with Roman, CM Punk, and Seth. They could convince me, so I'll leave the door open. But I think if you get Rock, Roman, and Seth and Punk 2, you could stack up your card, which again makes me wonder what is the main event of WrestleMania at this point, because it ain't going to
because it's. I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's looking like a repeat of last year. It's looking like the main event is not going to be a major title match. It's going to be implications to a title.
You mean night one for night one?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Main event is main event.
So you don't
Are
think
we
we're gonna
talking
get Cena versus Cody?
When we're talking main event, are we talking main event like hands down overall?
Like the last match to close out the entire show.
It's gonna be Cody versus whoever. But the main event of night one is the implication.
I don't think he gets Cena.
The main event.
It's Cena, bro.
You might be right.
Get the main event.
I'll tell you this much. I don't want it to be Cena Cody, even though they can make a lot of money with Cena Cody. The only reason why I don't want it to be Cena Cody is because Cena said, listen, I'll fight in the Rumble. I'll fight in the Chamber. I'll do Money in the Bank. I want this whole year to be Cena going, I got this, and then he don't got this.
Right.
That's what I wanted to be.
Look, the whole thing about this, right? Everybody has been waiting for a John Cena heel turn, right?
This could be it. His final year.
Let him. All the heels have been going crazy, and they've had a claim. So why can't John Cena crash out and be like, okay,
I'm good.
I didn't get the Elimination Chamber. Let's do the next best thing.
No. You know what? No, I'm with Matt on this one. You know what? I'm with Matt. I think personally, I think it would be better if Cena came up short and didn't win the title during this retirement run.
Thank you.
I'm dead serious. You know why? Because he doesn't have to break it. I think that it's not even just that people want him to break it because they want him to get his respect. But like, this is John Cena we're talking about here. Cena giving us a main event god tier run on his way out and losing the championship match to me works. Yeah. Because you know what? Sometimes you don't have to break the record to be remembered as this prestigious figure. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I'm promoting mental violence.
What?
I'm promoting that this was his last Rumble. He fucked up. This about to be your last elimination chamber.
He ain't fucked up. He did the right thing.
I'm just saying on screen.
But my whole thing is, I think they should just treat it like what I was saying when we was in the shop chat. Kobe that nigga. Make him he's just going on a world tour saying bye to everybody, take a picture with everybody.
That's my point, but I want a mental breakdown.
No, wait. Y'all are both onto something. Hold on. Let me put them shits together. Hold on. So it starts off like Kobe. But to Eric's point, if Cena gets to a point where he realizes time is ticking, why don't you make a story where Cena gives up on himself?
I need desperate times call for desperate measures.
That's what I'm saying. He gives up on John Cena and he becomes the Cena that we've been waiting for a while. He basically turns heel because he's running out of time. And he's like, listen, I need this. This record is all that matters. I've lost every match for 5 years.
I've been back.
Every major match that I need for 5 years, I've been losing. Y'all not going to have me go out and no lose it. Do you remember? I'm the franchise, damn it. And he loses his mind.
We got the Dr. Thugonomics back already.
No, not the Dr. Thugonomics.
No,
I'm not talking about Dr.
Thugonomics. No. He's on the GC.
I'm talking John Cena, the politician.
Yes.
That's what I want. That's what I want. You give him that and have him that. That's a compelling story. And still make him lose. You want to know why you make him lose?
Go ahead.
You make him listen, you make him lose because if he gave up on himself, Mr. Never gave up on himself, his soul, to try to win the championship. If you have him win and validate that kills all of who Cena is. The whole point of this story is Cena becomes somebody he shouldn't be, trying to get what he thinks he deserves, and he loses.
Thank you. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
Let him go through a mental breakdown for this whole year. Because technically this is last WrestleMania of this year.
Thank God.
But he's gonna be at WrestleMania for the next one in 2026.
No. If you have him turn heel, remember, if he turns heel, he turns back on everything he says. So he's going to be like, listen, if I win the world title, this ain't going to be my last Mania. Y'all stuck with me.
I'm not leaving.
You're be able to get rid of me.
That's the whole Leonardo DiCaprio and Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not leaving.
I'm not fucking leaving.
But like I said, you have him turn heel, you have him go, you have him try to become desperate for the title, but he still loses.
I'm mad that y'all are coming up with these storylines. I feel like I've gotten to the place where I can tolerate John Cena now. Do not Hulk Hogan this motherfucker, please.
It's not even a Hulk Hogan sort of thing. It's more.
This sounds like WrestleMania 9, bro.
No.
What you trying to do?
No, I'm not. No, we're not doing WrestleMania 9. I'm talking about he spends the entire year trying.
He turns his back on the kids. Fuck them kids, man.
That phrase really
I'll
needs.
sign up. I'll sign up to that.
The person that has taught you your whole life to never give up, gave up on himself and gave up on his values.
Give up on the kids, man.
I feel like if John Cena was to actually go on live TV and say "fuck them kids," I would buy every Fruit of the Loom rainbow shirt this motherfucker puts out. Fuck them kids. That's the point.
But that's the point. The point is that the John Cena of old is not working in this new regime, in this new
basically
WWE.
Not even basically, Matt, Hollywood Cena.
Yes. Yes.
They did that in the Firefly Funhouse match thing.
Yeah, not
Hollywood black and white Cena. That was hilarious. I need children to cry. I need children to cry. I need parents to have to tell their kids.
I need death threats.
Real. That's what I need.
Cena would have to come out in suits.
That's what I need.
Like Hollywood Cena would be him coming out in suits.
Make Cena the Italian that he is.
Yeah, yes, he'd come out in like these nice,
put it like this. The
Armani
internet,
suits.
The internet people that wanted John Cena to win the Rumble and they're hurt, I need them even more hurt. I need them to give Cena death threats.
So
no, let's
yes.
I sign up with it.
Yes.
Hey, fuck them kids though.
All right. Fuck them kids. Ty, close it off.
All right. So that is just, well, I guess that's a preview of what you're going to be seeing for most of the month. We're going to try to bring up, I wanted this episode to be more of a reset. You know, we've been doing a lot of current events. We've been doing a lot of like keeping with the trends. And honestly, it's not a bad thing here and there, but I'd rather integrate the current trends into the core of who we are. And who we are is trying to think ahead, think above, think back, and just keep the creatives going. Just keep trying to come up with different things and keep pushing different ideas. Because at the end of the day, we just want to talk about wrestling and we want to talk about what interests us, but we also want to think beyond just the popular narrative, you know? So hopefully we could do more of that this month. I do want to add something to Eric's match of the week, which I hope we can continue for the rest of Black History Month. Next week should be
when he's not selling ass for PlayStation networks.
I'm not selling shit.
We are not seeing monetization for this, but I do want to showcase. I do want to showcase like every week, we could have one of the members pick a wrestler that we want to like acknowledge for Black History Month that doesn't typically get the love that we deserve, or that they deserve, I should say. Because, you know, you're going to get your Rocks, you're going to get your Sheltons, you're going to get your Bookers, your Mark Henrys, and everything in between. But it would be nice. Essentially. But, like, I'd like to show. Like, I'm
surprised TV ain't get on your ass for that.
It's coming soon like a Kevin Hart movie.
I'd like to. I know it's kind of like on the spot for y'all, but hear me out here. I'd like to give a spotlight to Black talent in professional wrestling, both old and current, that don't get enough love. This week we'll work on one name. We'll do a randomizer and see who picks next week. That'll be awesome.
Pick a name now.
Yeah, pick a name now.
I'm gonna give one right now. So to start off Black History Month, under showcase Black talent, I want to give love to Elix Skipper.
Ooh, TNA.
Everybody remembers the head scissor off the top of the cage.
Yeah.
The times that he had in Triple X. One of the most interesting wrestlers in TNA's history. Like when you think of the X division, we think of what TNA kind of represented back then. He basically had it all. He just didn't get as much of the love as he deserved, but he was definitely one of the more influential names of that period. And when you think about TNA, you kind of can't think of early TNA without Elix Skipper.
I ain't gonna front. I had a name in my head, but like
I do too. I'm gonna save mine for next week.
Yeah, I'm gonna save mine, but I had a name. It's a fun name, and he was a TNA person as well. But we'll talk about that, you know, in the future.
All
right, so Big E, we ain't got to keep it PG, brother. But do we got a match of the week?
Damn, type of shit I'm on. Niggas wanted to stand. Yeah. You want to give a highlight to Black wrestlers? Here go one that I like. Too Cold Scorpio versus Rob Van Dam. Living Dangerously 98.
Okay.
That's 2 ECW matches in a row, right?
Back to back.
And it's funny you mentioned Rob Van Dam. He's selling ass too, ain't he?
Oh, what?
His wife.
What? What?
Hey,
Matt.
Matt.
Jesus Christ!
I don't. Oh God. So love.
It had to be Chris.
Two of the two innovative high flyers of their time, Elix Skipper and Too Cold Scorpio. Again, we're gonna try to give more light to the underutilized, more to the topics that don't get spoken about enough in wrestling. Again, this was a experimental episode, and I hope you guys enjoyed it this week. We're gonna try to make them even more organized going forward. What you call Norman Smiley? Yes, absolutely.
Norman Smiley's a little.
And the stuff he's doing in that performance center for those talents.
That's exactly why I picked Too Cold Scorpio. Because that man, yeah. If you know, you know.
Yeah,
Too Cold Scorpio. If you know, you know.
Oh, they put it on Dark Side of the Ring.
If you know, you know. That's all I got to say.
God,
all right, so I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it in the hands of Rand. But yes, tell us who you want to see showcased for Black History Month this month. I know a bunch of other podcasts have their own ideas for it, but again, showcasing some of the people who don't get enough light. Let's get the shadows out the way and get the spotlights on some people that deserve it.
Yeah,
That's how I feel, man.
I got next week, right? I can do next week.
Matt, you can do next week's episode. Yes. You can even wear my blazer.
You can wear my blazer. I can be on commentary.
All right, so wait. Whoa. Super Bowl predictions.
He tried to turn the TV off, man. That's hilarious.
Right, he tried to turn the TV off, man. Like, what's
all right. Super Bowl predictions. Who do you guys have winning tonight in the Super Bowl? You got the Eagles or the Chiefs?
I say Saquon Fly.
That's why you got that green on.
Because I'm gonna take pride in pissing off so many of you Giants fans off.
I'm sorry. I'm going.
Yeah. That's why I can't go with that.
Die on the Daniel fucking.
Hell no.
Why?
Listen.
I didn't agree to that.
I didn't agree to it. Like
Daniel, y'all wanted to die on that hill.
No.
So yes,
never.
Well, I say
your Stephen A. Smith is showing.
Yeah, never.
I'm gonna take pride in laughing. I swear to God, I'm gonna be so annoying in this goddamn chat room tonight.
This is the one time I wish the Brady curse went against the Eagles tonight.
Because they cannot. Kansas City can't do nothing against the rush.
Warp coming out. Wow, what the heck?
That's crazy. We get crazy confidence.
It's gonna be a watch.
All right. So me and Eric got the Chiefs. Obviously, Matt is wearing eagle green. Them dirty ass birds. Ty, who you got winning the Super Bowl, man?
Kendrick Lamar fans.
Yes.
Bye, guys.
Me and Matt gonna be dancing like them drunk uncles when Squabble Up. Come on.
Oh man, most definitely.
I'm gonna see TVs busted like when they had the Wii remotes out in 07. But yeah, folks, you're gonna hear if the earth. No, the earth's gonna shake. That's gonna be fun.
It is. And Taylor Swift is going to do. You know what? Shouts out to Taylor Swift, and for this particular reason.
What?
No. Hear me out.
She gotta do Bad Blood.
No matter where Taylor Swift is,
that would be crazy.
And no matter what, she enjoy herself, and she not like everybody else. She don't see no color. She don't give a fuck about nobody. She just want to party. I respect that.
Yeah.
She can't dance for shit, but I love it.
Oh, you saw her at the Grammys,
bro. She was singing A minor, and she was over there.
Everybody was.
Yeah, everybody was.
Yo.
Everybody was.
Drake, how the female version of you is singing your diss song? That's crazy.
Boy, how are they singing it at the Grammys?
I was saying Australia too. If I was in.
Ladies and gentlemen, we wish you a safe and happy Super Bowl night. That goes for the performers on the stage, the performers in the field, And for all the performers in their living rooms who will wake up with a torn ACL tomorrow. This is the Backstage Brawl. That has been the People's Champ Shop Biz Ronnie, a.k.a. Stu, Randy Lewis. Henny Bobby Brown doing the,
It's the Mercedes Monet loading dance.
You know what? The pettiest player in the game. Hennessy Bobby Brown, a.k.a. Matt.
I like that name. The pettiest player in the game. I like that. That's a dope nickname.
And Grizz, all caps when you say his name, Eric the Diamond Cutter.
Yeah.
Hey,
And you already know how to respect the mask. If you don't know how to respect the mask, you're going to get a headbutt. That being said, we are out of here. 1 hour and a couple seconds on the dot. That's a record. I'm happy. And we're done.
Ask for subscriptions. Crazy.
Go home. Wait, you are home. Go away.
Just saying, he's selling ass for subscriptions.
Cut the TV. Turn the TV off.
all right, yo, man. This has been the broadcast. We'll see you guys next week. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Enjoy your Sunday. And happy Valentine's Day to the lovers out there. Peace and love, man.
Be home.